Thank you, Brooke. Today I'll be talking about business-related communication patterns, business customs, business negotiations, as well as conflict and conflict resolution techniques in Portugal. So let me start out with business-related communication patterns, and I have with me a visual aid of a PowerPoint of the customs and etiquettes of Portuguese business people. So Portuguese is seen as very conservative. They are very formal when dealing with business negotiations and business relationships. Company representatives must focus to leave an overall positive impression on the company. They also must additionally refrain from communication that's too directive or too confrontational. Portuguese people also enjoy a light sense of humor and have a very lighthearted conversation. So don't be frustrated whenever a Portuguese business person stays on a lighthearted conversation throughout a business meeting. It is seen as custom, it is seen as common. So let's move on to business customs. The business customs of Portugal vary very slightly from the United States, and one example of that would be where a business professional in Portugal is known to keep others waiting from approximately 20 to 30 minutes late. And usually in the United States it's seen as a sign of disrespect, but in Portugal it's very common. It is not seen as a sign of disrespect. It's more common among business relationships, and it's important to remember to keep your cool, to keep your calm, and to remember that this is part of the negotiations in Portugal. And it's also important to remember to avoid feelings of offensiveness whenever there's a lighthearted conversation or there's a sense of humor and it might come off slightly offensive to you. It's important to, again, remain calm, remain cool and collected, and to just gather yourself and to remember that this is part of the Portuguese custom. Let's move on to business negotiations. Business negotiations in Portugal are very time consuming. Usually these include long business lunches in traditional Portuguese restaurants, and sharing a meal is seen as a sign of mutual respect and understanding. And let's finally move on to the conflict and conflict resolution techniques. Employees must remember to politely discuss possible conflicts, and the way to do that would be through the 5 steps of the conflict resolution, which include setting the scene, gathering information, agreeing on the problem, brainstorming possible solutions, and negotiating a solution. If you follow this 5-step conflict resolution process, it will decrease the chances of creating further problems and destroying business relationships. I'd like to thank you for listening to my presentation. Our next speaker is Gage with more topics relating to business in Portugal. Thank you.